In this video, I want to talk about how to start off your day positively. I want to take a look at why it's so important to do this, and I want to also share with you some practical tips that can help you set a real positive tone at the beginning of your day so that you can start off on a strong foot. Hi, I'm Stephen Burns from Mind School, and I've been a practicing coach, therapist and trainer for around about 22 years. And in this video I want to talk about how you can start off your day positively, and I also want to share a really powerful and quick ritual you can do just to really start off on a strong foot at the beginning of the day. So just before we begin, if you could like, subscribe and ring the bell just so that you can keep up to date with all future Mind School uploads as they drop, that would be absolutely fantastic. So this is one of these things that I think resonates with some people more than others. Some people are just amazing at doing mornings. You know, they wake up, they bounce out of bed, they feel positive, they know exactly what they want to get done, they're energized, they're very, they have a direction from first thing, and generally they're pretty good in the morning. Whereas other people, it's kind of like the opposite. It's like they just kind of fall out of bed, they hit the snooze button so many times, and it's like, give me like 10 cups of coffee or green tea before I can even get started. Now, I've got to be honest, I think for me, naturally I tend to fit into the latter category. I'm definitely a night owl. So because of that, I have to, set in motion, or I have to get used to doing, morning rituals so that I can quickly get myself into a positive and energized state for the rest of the day, so I can make the most out of the coming day that I'm about to experience. So I want to kind of explain how I do it, give you one of my rituals, but before I do that, I want to first of all explain why it's important to start off on a positive note in the beginning of the day. And the reason why, or the main reason why it's important, is because whatever you do at the beginning tends to influence, colour and shape what you do for the rest of the day. And this is actually a principle called psychological priming. So if you start off on a negative note and you're kind of like, thinking negative thoughts and all kinds of things, then that can bleed into the rest of your day and have a negative impact. Whereas if you have a process in place, something that you do regularly that gets you into a nice, positive and happy place, it really just kickstarts your day, and that can then have a ripple effect into everything you do after that. So just to kind of go into this psychological priming principle in a bit more depth, just to give you a bit more background information before we explain the ritual. So psychological priming is the idea that whenever you're doing any activity, then what you do before the activity will colour and shape how you actually go about the activity itself. You'll take whatever you do before it into the activity. And it actually came from, I believe it came from engineering. I have a background in engineering, used to work in the oil and gas industry. And if you take, for example, a pump, you don't want to start a pump with no liquid. It's called starting a pump dry. Because what will happen is the pump will cavitate, it'll get gas into the impeller, the interior, and it will actually do some quite significant damage to the pump. So what you do is, before you start it, you introduce a small amount of liquid. You prime the pump so that when you start it, it's got something to go on and it doesn't damage it, and it can just really get going very quickly. So it's kind of the same thing when it comes to your day. What you're doing is you're essentially priming your own pump. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but that is kind of what you're doing. So one example, by the way, of psychological priming is in performance psychology. If you take, for example, a performer say an athlete, then they usually spend a large portion of their attention on getting their mind and body ready before a performance, because they know that whatever they do, the preparation before they perform, will be taken into the performance itself, so they can start off really strong and really quickly. Actually, they also use this principle when they practice as well. If you take, for example, something like golf, I love to play golf. The worst thing that you can do when you go and practice golf is to just turn up and, on your phone and distracted and, right, just give me a club and give me a few balls and just hit them randomly and just see what happens. You don't want to do that. If you are looking to improve, and this is not just to do with golf, then you want to spend some time getting your mind and body in a good place so you're focused, so you're in a state of concentration, because whatever you do before is going to be carried into the practice and you'll get so much more out of that session. So again, it's another example of psychological priming. So that is the general idea. Let's take a look at this technique, shall we? So what you want to do is you want to, first of all, start this off in the evening, and you then want to review it first thing in the morning. So technically it's an evening/morning ritual, but I'm sure you'll forgive me, it does work, honestly. So you want to start off in the evening and then you want to review it in the morning. And to do this, you want to grab a piece of paper and a pen. So if you don't have that just now and you want to go through this as I explain it, then you can pause the video and grab a pen and a piece of paper just now. So step one is you want to start off with gratitude. Whenever you're looking to enhance your positivity, become a more positive person, gratitude is always a great place to start, because we can really take for granted all the amazing things that are currently in our life, the amazing things that are currently happening for us, to us, the great things about our day-to-day experience. So you want to start off with gratitude. And what you want to do is, and like I said, you want to do this in the evening, is you want to go over the day that you've just had. And you want to write down very, very briefly, no war and peace, just write down, a few things that were really good about your day, things that you were grateful for. Now, if you've had a shitty day, still find something. The fact that you survived the shitty day, that's a positive thing. But just spend some time exploring it, write down a couple of things, and then just replay them inside your mind. Don't just leave this as a cerebral written exercise. You want to just connect with them inside your imagination. What was it like? How did that make you feel when those positive things happened? So just take a few moments, doesn't have to take too long, just to relive them and reconnect with them. Then you want to just expand the scope a little bit and just have a think about things that you're grateful for in general in life. What are you grateful for about you? Aspects of your personality or, your life, the people who support you. Again, you don't have to do War and Peace. This is a list that you can add to over time. Just jot down a few things and just spend some time, again, reconnecting with them. Don't just make this an intellectual exercise. You want to really get your imagination involved and connect with those things that you're really grateful for. So then once you've done that, you move on to step two, and this is where you write down some key learnings of the day. And I know this sounds like it could take a long time, but honestly, see, once you've done this a couple of times, you can do this very quickly, and you're basically just adding to it each day. So just go over the day and think, okay, so what would be maybe 1 or 2 key learnings from the day? This is one of these things. I don't believe that being positive is about being all happy and, delirious and, eliminating all negative thoughts or negativity from your life. I don't think that is what modern day positivity is all about. What you want to do is you want to look at the negativity and then learn something from it so you can turn it into something positive in the future. So you want to look at the things throughout your day that you can learn from, make a quick note, again, no massive story, just 1 or 2 things you think would be really useful, kind of hidden gems that perhaps you didn't notice at the time. Then you want to move on to step 3, and this is where you project. So this is where you just sit down and you spend 5-10 minutes and just imagine the next day. So you're doing this in the evening, of course, so just imagine that tomorrow could just go the way that you would like it to go, that you could wake up in the morning and spend the whole day feeling positive, resourceful and grateful. So you want to just imagine what that would be like inside your mind's eye. Some people also like to do like a kind of written description, almost like a kind of like sensory rich description of what it would be like. So for me, it could be, well, I'd wake up and, I would stand up tall, I would breathe in a very open way, I would smile, I would look at people. If anything bad happened, I would think of how I could turn it round. I'm just kind of ad-libbing here. You can do a much better job than me. But the general idea is you want to activate your imagination and simply imagine what it would be like if tomorrow you were to be positive, grateful and resourceful. What would that be like? So you want to just spend some time doing that. Now, just to give you a little tip, as an aside, I wouldn't recommend that you imagine your entire day going perfectly, because the thing is, life isn't like that. I've seen this as a technique in self-help books where they get you to imagine your perfect day tomorrow. And to be honest, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because you can't control everything. There's always, spanners getting thrown into the works, curveballs in the workplace. So if you set that expectation, everything's going to go perfectly, then you might be disappointed. So what I would recommend you add in is, what would it be like if there were challenges that were thrown in, and how would you respond to those challenges in a much more positive and resourceful way? So you can kind of throw those things in. It's kind of like devil's advocate testing, so to speak. So you want to just spend some time just imagining what that would be like. It could be 5-10 minutes. If you want to go even more than that, that's fine by me. Just go for it. Just imagine it as much as you possibly can. And that's pretty much it. Then the next day, what you want to do is you want to look at your notes and then just use the notes to remind you of that experience, and just very quickly go through it. So you want to look at your notes in the morning, go, okay, what am I grateful for yesterday? What am I grateful for in general? What were the key learnings? And what would it be like if today was just to be very positive, grateful and resourceful? What would that be like if I was to have those qualities in abundance? And just very quickly review those inside your mind. Take 5-10 minutes over your toast or your Kellogg's cornflakes, or I don't know, whatever you eat in the morning. Hopefully it's more healthy than Kellogg's cornflakes. They're not particularly healthy, but anyway, I'm just rambling. So that is the technique. Really, really powerful. And then you basically just rinse and repeat. And what happens is you start to create this really nice virtuous cycle, where you're being grateful for the things during the day, grateful for things in general, you're learning from your bad experiences, and you're then projecting, what it would be like if you were more positive, grateful and resourceful. And the more that you imagine these things inside your mind's eye, the more that you're patterning in. You're creating neural pathways, neural networks that turn these into a reality. So, very simple technique, but please don't think just because it's simple it's not powerful. It is amazingly powerful, especially if you do it regularly. I like to do this pretty much every day. I don't do it every day. I miss some days, of course, but I think it can just be a really powerful thing to do, especially when you repeat it. So that is all for me for today. Enjoy the technique. Let me know how you get on with it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell so you can keep up to date with future Mind School uploads. So that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later on.